Susan. Welcome to Plateau Art Studio Art for Kids. I have another fresh month of projects. Let's see what we're going to work on today. Right, this project I have here today is inspired by Claude Monet, and he was a French Impressionist painter, which means that Impressionist, he was the leader of the Impressionist movement, and there was a group of artists way back then in the late 1800s that led and was part of Impressionism. And you can find a lot of his work online, Claude Monet, and a lot of his works were of the landscapes and seas and nature scenes. And so this project is inspired by him, and he has a couple that are of boats, and I love boats, so I thought we would do this. And he has one called Sunrise, which inspired this one, and I combined a couple of them because I thought I'd teach you how to do a rainbow, which a lot of you probably already know, but and then also how to mark out. So we're going to go over that right now and set this up here. And this is going to be a little canvas, and I've drawn out the little lines. Are really faint, so you probably can't see them on there, but a good way to do that is you should have on yours, I've drawn a horizon line, and that's where the sea meets the sky, is the horizon. So to do the rainbow, you can do free form, which means just do it without any guidelines, free-handedly, or you can try this. And this is where I have taken a pencil and I drew these big dots so you can see them. But when you do it, you want to just do it really lightly so you can barely see your guide of where to paint your rainbow. But I did this on purpose so that you can see it really well on the video. So I drew a line that you can measure it or just eyeball it to look like the center of that horizon line. And then I made a little dot on both sides of that middle, and then one up above. And then it's like connecting the dots. So then I just drew from dot to dot. And then that's going to be my sun here. That's where I'm going to paint my sun. Now the next thing, the rest of them, there are 6 colors in a rainbow. So then I counted the dots, and you're going to do the same thing. And you can eyeball it so they look like they're, spaced pretty evenly. I did not measure these. I just kind of used my eye to make it look as close as possible. And the same thing up here, so that you will connect those dots. And then this gets further and further, so if you want another dot there, you can do that. You can go to there and then down. So you'll get your nice even arches for your rainbow. So that's just something I wanted to share with you. And then, so let's get started. We're gonna start with the rainbow, and we're gonna start with the top so that we're not reaching over and getting paint or something on our sleeve or on our wrist or something here. So we'll start at the top so it has a chance to kind of dry first. I'm going to get my brush wet. I don't know if you can see that. And then tap it on the side. We are working with Tempera paints today, which are not watercolors, but we are going to water these down. So I'm going to take my yellow first and fill in my yellow here. And I probably will paint much faster than you, so just pause at any time you need to catch up. Okay, so there's my sun. Now I'm going to keep the paint on my brush and just add water, because I want that sunshine, that kind of glowing sunshine, the light from it. So I'm not doing my rainbow yet. I just want a little soft color from the sunlight, which is just gonna go around that first area, and I want it to be really, really light. There we go. Okay, so next in the rainbow colors will be purple. So I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want a lot of color. I want it to be kind of pale. So wash your brush really well while we switch color. And just get a tiny bit of purple. I don't know if you can see that. I just used a little bit and I'm putting water in it because I want that rainbow just to be really soft and kind of like almost like watercolor around. Can kind of blend it into the other colors. Now purple and yellow are secondary, or excuse me, yellow is a primary, but purple is a secondary. And purple is made with blue and red. And blue and red and yellow all mixed together will make mud. It'll be kind of dull. It's too many colors. They don't work well together to mix unless you're looking for that. See right here, there's water, so it's blending into one another, which is fine. That's what I want. But I don't want to purposely mix them too much. The yellow. There's a little water there. I'm just going to leave that. Don't forget, if you get too much water, dry your brush off. You can pick it up. Pick that water up. Okay, what's next? Blue. I'm going to do the same thing, just a little tiny bit of blue. You can paint it heavier if you want. This is just what I like. I want to make it look kind of watercolor-like. So I just want a little bit of color. I kind of want them to blend and look light. Rainbows are kind of fun. They're definitely... So there's my next color. That's not really... And then I like the way they kind of blend into one another there. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water right close to the edge there. We're going to treat this a little like watercolor. Okay, next is green. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I will wipe this out. So next I'm going to do the same thing with my green. This is a lighter green. Oops, I just got green in my white. Yeah. This green's a little lighter, so I might not add as much water. It's pretty light. Because there is light going through the rainbow. That's what makes a rainbow, is the light reflecting off the moisture and crystals in the air. And they always have to have a body of water from one side to the other where they're reflecting. So there's my green, and then we'll go back to the little yellow. Next color in the rainbow is yellow. Just need a little more. And by the time you get to the other side, we can go back this way. This video will be in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. And you'll see why. Okay, what's next? Orange. So my orange is pretty thick, so I'm gonna get more orange, put water in it. Paint over on this side. Let's use it. I'm going gonna pull this paint over. Okay, next is red. Running out of little wells there, so wash your brush in between. And this is almost going to look like pink because I don't want it real strong. And really, it's magenta that is in the rainbow, not red. Alright, there we are. Okay. There is our rainbow. Now if you want to blend the colors so that they fade in and out of one another, you can rinse your brush really well, dry it off, and you can just gently go in between. You're not really mixing, you're getting it wet so they kind of fade into one another. Just show you that little trick, but wash your brush every time you do this. There we go. There. So there's our rainbow. And then we can do the background with blue, the sky. I'm going to paint the sky. You can use a bigger brush if you want. Hopefully this paint, your paint that you're using and your canvas will react really well to the paint. I actually had something else on this canvas and I painted over it to use it up. So the paint kind of wants to resist it a little bit. That's okay. I'm gonna not go too close to the red because I want it to dry. I don't want my blue to actually bleed into my red part of the rainbow yet. So I'm gonna stay away from the edge until it's dry and I can go back and get closer. Otherwise you'll end up with a purple sky, but maybe that's okay because that's part of a sunset. It's a sunset color. That would work. Actually, that might look really pretty. I'm going to leave that up to you. Okay. All right, now there we go. So there's my blue sky. Now we're going to start on the bottom. And the bottom, for those of you that haven't done this with me before, get your fork out, your plastic fork, and a big brush. And you're going to use a lot of the dark blue. Okay? And start towards maybe the bottom. We're going to give this a little chance to dry. Use all your dark blue on the bottom. It's going to be our ocean for our boats. Now remember, you can pause this at any time so that you can catch up. That's just fine. I don't expect you to paint at the same pace that I'm going. All right, so now I want you to take that fork and make sure you go all the way from left corner to right. and you pull back and forth. So you get nice long strokes across that water. Okay, now I want you to take that fork and we're going to drag it across like this one here to make the little texture of waves in the water. There we go. All right, now we're done with our, this is called our background. We are done with our background. So now what I'm going to have you do, once you have revisited me and we've got this all done, I am going to set this aside to dry. It needs to dry, okay? So now you can get a paper towel. I don't have a paper towel, I've got a little cloth here, and you're going to get your boats out. And I want you to pay attention to the shape of the boats. So I thought it'd be really fun to this triangle with the long straight side, and then this one that's curved actually goes this shape. Hopefully you can see this well. And this little shape is the bottom. It's where the water comes up against the boat when they are sitting in the water. I thought some kind of realism of the shape of the boats and the sails would be kind of fun to do. So I want you to go ahead and lay these all out. And a couple of them I have already painted. And there's a large boat, a medium boat, and a small boat. So I do want you to paint your boats, but before you paint, lay them all out so they look just like this. So you have them going the right direction and you're painting the correct side. So in other words, if you had your sail this way, that it doesn't go that way. It doesn't go that way. It goes this way. So try to visualize these and set yours out. You can pause this right now, get a paper towel, lay these all out, and make sure they're lined up the right way. So you paint the correct side. So go ahead and do that. And I'm going to paint this one. I want a red boat. I love red. So I'm going to paint this. And just a hint, if you do a lot of blue, they won't stand out real well against the blue water. So if you do, that's why I have all these different colors, because they stand out against the blue. If you have a lot of like a blue boat, it may not show up real well. So just keep that in mind. And that's okay. So this one, I think I'll make it striped. I'll have blue. How about blue and orange? That's going to be really bright. I'll make the top maybe a little stripe. There's that one. And then this one, maybe we'll do it all orange to match. Let's do orange. Nice and bright. I like bright colors. You choose whatever colors you like, but I just wanted you to know that blue won't show up against the blue really well. Boy, that's pretty bright. Okay, so this is part one. All right, so after you get your background all painted here, then you're gonna set it aside. It needs to dry. All right, and then I want you to lay out your boats, paint your boats, and now you're gonna go do something else for a little while, for maybe like 20 minutes, and this is part one of this project. So then you're gonna visit me again for part two, to finish. So I'm gonna let everything dry, and then I will see you in 20 minutes after everything's dry, okay? Bye for now. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the projects. I'll see you next week. I look forward to it. Bye-bye.